children are psychologically disturbed from parents thinking the only mode of parenting is just shaming and guilt tripping. I honestly think about that all the time. Like from today's khutbah, just the idea that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ recognized that there was a modality of growth that did not involve putting down the person first, right? And this is when people become susceptible to shaitan. So that was shaitan. He was mublis. He was someone that despaired, right? So we think we're helping someone, but in reality, we're just pushing them into the throngs of shaitan, right? And it's sad. We need to learn how to actually persuade people, because that's what it is. It's just laziness. It's saying, look at persuading and love and motivating and all that stuff, just too hard. It's really much easier for me to just forget about all that stuff and just be like, you're terrible, you need to listen to me, you need to follow me, I'm better than you, let me show you the path, I'm older than you, I'm bigger than you, I'm stronger than you, etc. and so forth. And this is the unfortunate reality, and part of the reason why we have such bad mental health. There's such bad mental fitness. So anyways, side note, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be latif, yulatif bina, right? To show His beautiful attribute of latf, subtleness in directing us towards the haqq. So inshallah ta'ala, we're going to keep going today with the problem of evil. So yesterday we clearly established that the idea that if God is all good, then evil exists, then therefore God does not exist. We clearly debunked this. Does anyone feel like we did not? Well, if you guys weren't here, David was here. Do you feel like it's like clear, crystal clear, right? Because it's not necessary. Yeah. Okay, so that idea of all good is not an empirical argument. We said we only establish deductive arguments on empirical certainties, like the world is changing. Nobody can argue. Not something like God is all good. That is a statement of morality, right? It's not a statement of logic or philosophy or science. So that's good. We established that, and that's important. But now we have to ask ourselves the next question, which is, even if Allah exists, why did He then create the world the way it is, with good and evil, which we both know to be empirically existent, right? We all know to some extent that there are bad things that happen in the world. We all know to some extent that there are good things that happen in the world. We empirically feel this, right? We experience it on a daily basis. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only necessary being, right? So essentially, when He goes to create, He creates, in a sense, what He likes, right? And He creates what He doesn't. So this is the basis of the question, can an unnecessary being, simply a possible being, question, right, the necessary being on why He created whatever He created? And this question is something we can better understand through metaphor. So for instance, say Richard, he's got his backyard. Richard wants in his backyard a cement slab in the middle, grass around it, a little shed, and in the back he wants mulch and rocks and trees, which is exactly what his backyard is, actually. I think I described it perfectly. So, if then I am going to come and say, Richard, you can't do this, right? Am I in bounds to tell him that? Can I tell him? No, I have no authority to do so. So the basic premise here is, right, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Malik al-Mulk. Right? يَفْعَلُ بِمُلْكِهِ مَا يَشَاءُ. Right? Allah is the owner of all things. And He does, as the owner, He has the right to do whatever He wants. Now, this idea is generally easy for theists, right? It's easy for people who believe in God to accept this reality, right? So they already have some type of basic interior decoration. But what we want to do is we want to appreciate why Allah created the world the way He did, right? So we can say that from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's rahmah, right? That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created a world with patterns. We created a world of harmony. No matter how bad your day is going, you woke up, you saw the sunrise, it's going to go down, it's going to come up again. Harmony, right? The planets are orbiting, right? The earth is enjoying a general harmony. And human beings know this, whether they want to admit it or not. Why? Brother Arif, you left your house today, right? Did you think there's a greater chance that you make it home at the end of the day? Or did you think there's a greater chance that you do not make it home? As in, you would get into, la samah Allah, God forbid, that you got into an accident or something. Which one did you think was more probable when you stepped out of your house this morning?
I'll be back.
Yeah. The human being, whether they like to admit it or not, knows that the world is in harmony because they experience it empirically every single day. You have certainty for the most part, right? Although, of course, you believe maybe there's a chance something bad happens, but you, for the most part, feel like you have the confidence that most of the things you do are going to go how they're supposed to go, right? And if you didn't feel that, you wouldn't do anything, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, part of the beauty of this world actually is that He gives you enough confidence and certainty to go out in the world and expect that if I light the fire, it's going to be fire, right? And so this is the patterns, the order, the discipline that exists in the world. You rely on it. You need that order, right? So the idea that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right, can create a world where He sits and has no discipline, no order, no patterns, i.e. science, right? Observable patterns with which to make predictions and hypotheses. If Allah does not create the world in that way, and rather He stops every evil that could potentially occur, breaking all types of patterns and leaving no predictability, the world would be actually a more inherently chaotic world rather than a more peaceful one, rather than a less evil one. So we have to, and I don't want to keep you guys any longer. This is what we're going to talk about more tomorrow, is coming to appreciate why the world is the way it is, rather than simply saying to ourselves, this is evil and this is good, and what binary kind of arguments we make in either way, but rather, as we just come to appreciate and see the wisdom. And then tomorrow we're going to do possible worlds theory, which is fun. And then we're going to do a few more things, and we'll progress the problem of evil. Barakallahu feekum. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.